When I told you I was coming to Jamaica, half of you said it's my favorite country. We go there all the time. It's the best. I can't wait to go back and I can't wait to see your content. And then the other half of you were like, I'm never going back. Never again in my life. You couldn't pay me to go back to Jamaica. It is so dangerous. I had a horrible time. I could see both. I could definitely see both. You know, Jamaica, it can be extremely dangerous. There's a travel warning out right now. I'm going to talk about that, about if I feel if it's dangerous or not. These are my first impressions, of course. And then I'm going to talk about, is it indeed next level? Is it the pinnacle of the Caribbean, or is it one of the best, or is the hype not real? So these are just my first impressions. And the beautiful thing about first impressions is that they can change. First of all, the airport is awesome. They claim it's the best airport in the Caribbean. I'm not going to disagree. It is beautiful, it's easy to navigate, it's professionally run, and flying out of it is the best part. I can't wait to get back there. In fact, spoiler, I'm staying at Excellence as my last property. I'm going to leave that hotel as early as I can in the morning just to get to the airport and hopefully make a video about how fun the Montego Bay Airport is. So, airport, lovely. The country itself is beautiful. I love the island life. I have spent a lot of time in the Caribbean, but not all of the Caribbean is island-based. You know, if you go to Cancun or Costa Rica, a lot of Central America, you don't get the island life. And as I talked about in my video about what it's really like to fly to Jamaica, when you hit the island, you are struck with the hills. I didn't expect those beautiful, rolling, magnificent green hills. And then, of course, you got the electric, radiating blue waters. The country is absolutely beautiful. It's smaller than what I thought it would be. Now, it may be one of the larger Caribbean islands, but it's not as big as I thought it would be. Now, again, these are just my impressions. This is my perspective. But from getting to the north to south of Cozumel takes about an hour. And in Jamaica, you get across the entire island in 2 hours. Whether you want to fly into Montego and get to Kingston or go over to Ocho Rios or Negril, you're pretty much 2 hours away from anywhere you want to be on the island of Jamaica. And that's not daunting at all. So I interrupt the first impressions programming with a drink break. This is called a Tempted to Touch, pineapple juice, dark rum, blue curacao, and a few other things. The drinks, by the way, have been fantastic. The Bob Marleys here are like nothing I've had at any other tropical island or place. One thing I will say though, and I've noticed this, I've been here now for almost a couple of weeks at like almost 4 different resorts. They don't usually like to tell you the names of the drinks. It's always with love, bartender special, you name it. So sometimes, even though they're gorgeous and delicious, you really don't have an idea of what you're drinking. So back on track, this is a young country. I think the future is very bright. It does have some English roots. I believe England colonized this nation. So you are going to see some of that influence throughout. They drive on the wrong side of the road, according to me. The steering wheel is on the other side of the car compared to what you'll find in America. And they drive a little crazy, like you will find in Punta Cana. In fact, you got to be careful if you're walking. You know, in America, even in crazy cities like New York or LA, usually, you know, the cars are going to stop. They don't stop here, and it can be a little dangerous. So you just got to be careful. The traffic isn't as civilized or conscientious as you might find in America. Certainly a different culture from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, and Mexico, obviously. The people are cool. They're super cool. They're cool in their demeanor. They're laid back. They're relaxed. They're cool in their culture with their slang. I haven't picked up on all of it. In fact, sometimes I have a really hard time with the dialect. It's kind of like going to Scotland. Like if you've been to Scotland, they speak English. Like they're speaking English words, but I have no idea what they're saying. I kind of am getting that feeling here. So the culture is really cool. The slang is cool. The people are cool. I will say they are definitely cooler than like the Dominicans or Mexicans. And what I'm saying is they're not as warm. And that's not saying they're not warm people and they're not friendly. Of course they are. They warm up to you from what I've seen. When they first meet you, it's courteous, it's respectful, it's friendly, but they kind of give you like an ocular pat down, right? They're kind of like eyeing you up. They're kind of discerningly looking at you like, you know, who is this person? And they're giving you like an analysis. And then once they kind of figure out who you are or if they feel comfortable, then they kind of open up. But it's not that immediately warm embrace that you're gonna find in like Punta Cana. Now again, I want to reiterate, the people are warm, they are friendly. I've been treated with respect for the most part. I did have an interesting experience when I went off campus for a haircut. I got taken advantage of in terms of price. That can happen anywhere you go, whether it's Bulgaria or South America, Mexico, but for the most part, yes, warm, yes, friendly, especially after they warm up to you. But I'm just saying, it isn't that Dominican and even sometimes Mexican warm embrace that you get right away. There's a little bit of a barrier that you have to cut through, and I just think it's because they're giving you that ocular pat down to kind of size you up and kind of see what you're all about. One thing I don't like is the wind. I'm anti-wind. I think it should be banned. We can basically make weather these days. I would eliminate wind. Now, I understand that that would pretty much eradicate 80% of our species on this planet, but I'm just anti-wind. I just find it so annoying. Now, of course, I say this tongue-in-cheek, but there is some truth in jest. Nonetheless, it's windy, and the island life is windy. I noticed this in Cozumel, and it's pretty much the same here, if not even windier. Steady winds every day. A light wind would be 10, and those aren't very common. A lot of days it's really like windy, like 20, 25 miles per hour. The trees seem to always be blowing, and when the winds are 20 to 25 miles per hour, it's not necessarily a lot of fun to be outside. Menus are getting blown around. You know, the waves aren't as beautiful. The water's a little rougher. It comes with the island life. Absolutely windy, pretty much every single day. It's just how severe or how minimal the wind is. Another thing about island life is that it's slow, and in Jamaica, it's really slow. For the most part, you're on their time. Now, when you're dealing with professionals in professional settings, whether it's an airport transport, a hotel check-in, a server, you know, they honor punctuality. But if you're going to a place that might be a bit more casual in their profession, maybe like a barber, or if it's like a general appointment, or just whenever, it can kind of just be whenever and whatever, and you have to get used to it. So if you're used to the American or Western efficiency, or if you're used to productivity or having things immediately, that's not necessarily the case here in Jamaica. So before I get into the danger aspect, and it certainly is one, and then if it's overhyped or if the hype is real, I just gotta say, I love the coffee here. Now, I am not a coffee aficionado. I'm an amateur, and I'm working my way up the ranks. I've definitely been through every single Nespresso Vertuo pod. I'm learning about the different beans and strains and hybrids, acidity levels, and all of that. I'll just say this. This is the first coffee that I've had where I can drink it black. And I actually like it. Like, it's no problem. All right, it's danger time. Before I do that, you can see what I'm saying about the wind. It is like this all the time. This is actually pretty light. All right, danger. Is Jamaica dangerous? Yeah, it is, for sure. And I think that's why so many of you were so extreme in saying that you'll never come back again. There are a lot of stories online about some very prominent people coming here and having some horrific things happening to them where they're sworn off this island completely. But I think that danger is what's going to keep you extremely safe. The danger isn't in your face like it is in Punta Cana or Mexico. It's just not right in front of you and it's just going to strike you. It's surreptitious, it's sneaky, it's subtle. You just got to be careful about who you talk to, what you do, and where you go, because it's just the one little step that's going to put you in a world of hurt. So for me, I've been extremely vigilant since I've been here. Not only do I ask, like, is a place safe? I ask multiple trusted people, like different people at different hotels, if the place is safe. I get 3 or 4 consensus opinions, and then I make my decision. You know, when I first got here, some people told me Uber was safe, and then as I asked around, people said, absolutely not. Do not use Uber. Same thing with the taxis. People say they're absolutely not safe. And that's where a lot of the horror stories come from. You know, people getting in taxis, getting driven out to the middle of the island, being robbed, you know, phones taken, and then just stranded. And there are stories that are worse than that. So because I'm aware of those, and it's hard not to be, I practice extreme vigilance and extreme caution. So I'm always asking around. I must have asked 10 people if the hip strip is safe. So hopefully I'll get down there at some point, even during this trip. So I think that if you are willing to ask multiple people and make sound, common sense judgments, you're going to be okay. But this is not a Mexico. This is not even a Punta Cana where it's in your face and all of a sudden it looks like a bad area and then boom, you're going to get hit. All it takes is, you know, one wrong cab, one wrong look, one wrong bad decision, one wrong drink, and it's lights out. And because it can be so subtle and so quick and so sneaky, I just practice, like I said, extreme situational awareness. And then last but not least, next level or way overhyped. You know, Jamaica is next level. It's next level in price, for sure. It is maybe double of what a Punta Cana vacation might cost you. And property to property, flight per flight, when you compare it against like a Cancun, it certainly is more expensive, and like significantly. So it's next level in terms of price, and there are some next level things about it. It's an island. You get a different type of a culture. The water is super clear. It's a really interesting experience. But is it next level? Is it worth it? Is it the best? I can't say yet, but all I could say is that I haven't encountered a situation or memory or moment or experience here that I have not got anywhere else. It hasn't provided anything unique or of value that would justify the premium cost to get here yet. And maybe it's going to be subtle, maybe it's going to be over time, maybe after 3 or 4 weeks, I'll make my final video and I'll be like, yeah, it is next level. And it is worth the extra 30 or 40 or 50%. So if it's right there with Cancun, at least as of right now, in terms of core hospitality, I'm not talking culture or anything like that, or what you can do in terms of adventure, hotels, restaurants, food quality. Yeah, it's no better as of right now. We'll see. I got a couple hotels left. I'm wondering, and let me get your thoughts on this, is the huge price premium to come here, is it because it's an English-speaking Caribbean island? You know, there's a lot of comfort in that. There's a lot of security in that. There's no language barrier. You know, if you go to Punta Cana, or if you go to Cozumel or Cancun, even though English is prevalent, you can't just effortlessly communicate all the time in the native language, and you can here. Is it not necessarily because it's such a huge next level increase or enhancement in experience? Is it because it's a next level increase, enhancement, and just overall ease?